How do you think the neighborhood's changed since you were filming here last? Because the story you tell is about this, is kind of about this unspoiled corner of Brooklyn, this sort of secret place that people didn't know about. And now, as you've said, this is much more open. IKEA's here. There's been a lot of attention on this neighborhood.
Well, that's one thing I actually didn't foresee really when I was starting. Red Hook was still a relatively sort of under the radar kind of place. There's got talked a little bit about real estate, this and that, but it wasn't that, well known. And in like the last 6 to 12 months, the amount of press and attention that Red Hook has received has been really sort of surprising.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think the IKEA, everyone's still kind of trying to figure out how they, what the fallout is and how they feel about it and come to terms with it. I think the really big issue is going forward from IKEA, and I think people don't want the entire waterfront to be massive box stores.
Although now with the economy in meltdown, I think a lot of that will stop, and maybe we'll start seeing more of this.
Yeah, no, we might come
on the
back.
Waterfront.
This might have just reached the point where it just slips by and reverts back to being a desolate space.
It looks just pretty much like it did in your film, except there's no one living here anymore. Are there still people living here?
No, I don't think anyone's living here. If they were, they'd be crashing out for the night.
Yeah.
I think, the one thing that is noticeably different actually is that the amount of graffiti has increased a lot. Yeah. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's much more open and accessible now.
Right.
I also heard that the guy who's the chief security guard at IKEA or something is a big graffiti guy.
Huh.
So he's really sort of maybe raised the profile with a lot of other writers, or just has brought people over to.
So he's just turned an eye, or he's actually cultivating fresh graffiti?
Well, I don't want to speak.
Yeah.
I just know that there's an interest there, so he's aware of it. And then I think that led to other graffiti writers, who weren't maybe as local or coming out and tagging.
This would actually make kind of an amazing and beautiful site for a park. Keep the graffiti intact, keep it,
Yeah, I've heard people, suggest that before. This is the part of that sort of mini lake that's everyone has seems to have a different term for.
Oh yeah,
I think it's called the pond and the puddle, and no one's quite sure how deep it is sometimes. Well, that was one of the things that always struck me from the very beginning was the amount of the natural element, the amount of just the reeds, the growth of the concrete. It was almost like just being reclaimed by nature, kind of. In city living, you just stop seeing a lot, and whether it's just graffiti or security cameras or strange fences that behind which there are sort of other worlds. If you open up your eyes, sometimes you find some really cool stuff.
This should be the Richard Serra part. We have a Richard Serra scattered rubber